My name is Dominic Koletes, and I'm an independent filmmaker. What does that even mean, really? Well, basically it means I'm a broke filmmaker, but that's okay, because for years the world of filmmaking was only open to those with lots of cash. But the introduction of digital video has changed everything, and now I can produce high-quality projects with my own digital camera using the same tools Hollywood uses to make movies with every day. And if I can do it, you can do it. And that's what this section of the DVD is all about. How to get your vision out of your head and onto the screen. David Lynch is creating a project right now using these very same tools, and it's giving him the freedom to explore new artistic directions. We're going to take a look at how you can use these powerful tools to help you create your own independent film. Let's get started. To get the results you want, you need to start with a plan. Pre-production involves preparing for the production process before you start to shoot, so that when the cameras start to roll, you can focus on the creative aspects of your shoot. By planning your shoot ahead of time, you get what you need, and you save time and money. So what are some of the things you need to think about prior to shooting? Well, what aspect ratio are you going to shoot in? Are you going to shoot in standard definition or high definition? Are you going to be shooting with more than one camera? How do you keep track of everything you shoot? And what is your final output? DVD, film, web? Well, whatever you decide is right for your project, Avid Systems can help you get it done. You're probably used to seeing film shot in a widescreen format. There are many different aspect ratios in use today, but the most common is 16:9. An aspect ratio describes the relationship between the width and the height of your image. So 16:9 refers to an image that is 16 units wide by 9 units tall. Compare that to the traditional TV aspect ratio of 4 units wide and 3 units high. Everything in cinema is an attempt to mimic experience, and everything the camera does is in an effort to mimic the human eye. The human eye sees peripherally, so 16:9 more closely mimics how we actually see. So why deal with the different aspect ratios in the first place? This is really an issue that has to do with the difference between television standards and film formats. But what it really boils down to is that shooting video in 16:9 helps provide a more cinematic feel. This cinematic feel and the introduction of HD and widescreen television monitors has made 16:9 more common in commercials, music videos, and primetime television. Avid Xpress Pro HD gives you the ability to edit 16:9 footage in its native mode, as well as options to output a single sequence in multiple aspect ratios. This flexibility means that whether you decide to shoot in 16:9 or 4:3, you'll have the option to output both. That's where planning ahead comes in. If you want both versions to look their best, you'll need to set up your shots ahead of time with both formats in mind. We've been talking about DV, but Avid Xpress Pro HD software lets you work with multiple resolutions in the same timeline. DV25, DV50, footage originally captured on film and transferred back to tape, you name it. And by adding Avid Mojo hardware, you can also have uncompressed standard definition footage alongside of your DV footage playing back in real time. Avid Xpress Pro HD software lets you take it a step further by letting you mix high-definition footage with standard definition footage in the same timeline in real time. Nobody else offers this kind of format flexibility. So shoot with whatever camera you want and whichever format you like, and have the confidence that they'll cut together smoothly. With today's camera prices dropping rapidly, it may make sense for you to use more than one camera on your shoot. This can be especially helpful when capturing highly emotional scenes where it may be difficult for an actor to maintain a strong emotional level across multiple takes, or with scenes that just won't be possible to stage more than once, like an action sequence. With 2 cameras, you can capture 2 shots in 1 take, saving time and your actor's energy. Musical performances and other live events also make multiple cameras virtually essential, because you only get 1 shot to capture the footage that you need. Avid Xpress Pro HD makes it a snap to lock together the clips from multiple cameras for real-time, multi-camera editing, giving you the freedom to pick your shots on the fly. So how do you keep track of all the footage you shoot, and where do you put it? A 1-hour DV tape seems small enough when you hold it in your hand, but this same footage takes up over 10 gigabytes of space on your computer's hard drive. Logging and capturing even a few of these tapes can create an enormous number of individual files very quickly. Add elements like titles and music, and that number gets even bigger. One of the reasons that Avid products are used to edit the majority of television shows and feature films is how easy Avid makes it to manage the massive number of files created in the editing process. Media management doesn't sound especially glamorous, but neither is wasting time and money while you hunt for your footage. Avid editing applications offer reliable tools to help you organize your media to fit the way you want to work. So what is the ultimate delivery format of your project? Video, DVD, the web, or do you want to output to film? Your choice of final output will affect how you shoot your project. Inexpensive digital video cameras such as the Panasonic DVX100A and the Canon XL2 allow you to shoot 24 frames per second progressively scanned video, also known as 24p, that transfers very easily to film. 24p footage can also lend a more film-like appearance to your project than the normal interlaced video recorded at 30 frames per second or 30i. Fortunately, with Avid Xpress Pro HD software, editing 24p footage is as easy as editing standard 30i. So, those are just a few of the things you need to think about before your actors and crew show up for the first day of shooting. Now, it may seem like a lot to think about before you load your first tape, and it is, but Avid Xpress Pro HD contains tools that can help you plan for many aspects of your shoot and fix the things you didn't plan for. But we'll get to those later. When it comes time to shoot, there are many things you can do during production that will help you later when you start editing your footage together. Let's take a look at a few. You've probably seen one of these before. It's called a slate. A slate gives you information about the scene in takes so that later when you're going through your footage, you can easily determine what scene you're looking at. It could also help you sync two cameras together for multi-camera editing. And finally, it can be used to sync picture to sound when recording audio to a separate system, like Pro Tools. Shooting double system sound guarantees the best picture and sound acquisition since a dedicated person is responsible for each area. The camera operator can pay close attention to the picture while the sound person can focus on capturing high-quality audio with Pro Tools. When it comes time to edit the scene, the audio files can be imported by dragging and dropping them directly into the project. This importing happens 12 times faster than real time and will include all timecode and logging done on set with Pro Tools. Once audio and picture are in the system, the auto-sync feature allows the video and audio clips to be synced based on common timecode or marks set by the user, usually corresponding to the slating of the scene. Different lighting situations have different color temperatures, and you need to tell your camera what to consider white. This can be easily done by framing a white card in your viewfinder and pressing the white balance button. Remember, if your lighting changes, you'll need to white balance again. Another method that is common with film production is using a Macbeth color chart. By shooting the chart after every change in lighting, the chart can be used later during color correction by comparing the footage and the digital version of the chart. The notated or line script becomes the editor's guideline for assembling the various angles and determining which take to use. The importance of keeping track of this information becomes critical when handing the footage off to the editor. Avid's unique and patented script-based editing feature brings the line script into the electronic world by creating an overlay on the script with the actual footage. The timeline and the script have a two-way connection which can be used anytime the user wants to go back to the script from any spot in the timeline. When it's time to roll the camera, you're going to have a lot of things on your mind, but by paying attention to a few key areas while shooting, you can save yourself lots of time later in the process. Now that you've shot your footage, you need to bring it into your system and organize it so you can edit it. This is accomplished with the Capture tool. The Capture tool gives you many options while capturing your footage, including the ability to log clips and set locator points. One of the first things you need to consider is what resolution you want to capture your footage at. Now you're probably saying to yourself, why would I want to capture it anything other than the best quality? Well, since you're not going to use everything you've shot, a typical way to work is to capture your footage at a lower resolution, saving you space on your hard drive. Working in a lower resolution is called offline editing. Then, once you've finished with your edit, you can recapture only the footage you've used at a higher resolution. Once you've captured your clips, you need to organize them before you can begin to edit. Earlier we talked about the powerful media management tools in Avid products. This is where that becomes critical. Avid Xpress Pro HD utilizes a bin architecture that is based on the way film editors used to keep track of their physical pieces of film that would be cut together to create the final edit. These pieces of film would be stored in large containers called bins. The difference now is that you're not just limited to knowing where your clips are. You can use your Avid bins to keep track of all sorts of helpful information, such as tape numbers, start and stop times, and much more. And you can sort the contents of your bin so that you only see the information that you need. For example, clips can be color-coded for a variety of purposes, such as director's preference, best takes, off-camera lines, or any other criteria that you find useful. Locators are a handy tool that you can use to mark specific points in time on any given clip. Once you've added locators, you can open the locator window and double-click an icon to go directly to its location in the clip. This is a great way to add reminders to your sequence, either for yourself or anyone else that you may be working with on your project. You can choose how to view all this information and save different views for instant recall. So rather than look at detailed information about your clips, you can look at a brief view, script view, or even sort your clips visually as a rough edit. These powerful media management tools are designed to give you total flexibility when organizing your footage. This is really going to pay off later when you're trying to find that perfect shot. So now that you've captured and organized all your footage, it's time to start editing the rough cut. Avid Xpress Pro HD software was built by editors for editors, allowing them to focus on the craft of storytelling, not the technology. One of the benefits of working in an Avid editing environment is the ability to customize the interface to suit the task you're working on. So rather than spending time looking for tools, your Xpress Pro software can expose them as you need them. Want to have a button in a different place? Just move it there. Would you like to turn a frequently used menu command into a button? Drag it where you want it. It couldn't be easier to work the way you want to work. You can also back these preferences up to a device such as a USB drive and carry them with you wherever you go. There are many ways to approach the edit depending on the material. For instance, clips can be storyboarded in the bin and drag and drop as a group into your timeline, creating a rough edit. Most sequences are built one clip at a time. Load a clip into your source monitor by double-clicking it, then mark your in and out points. To get the marked clip into the timeline, you can either hit the splice button or just drag and drop it. Another great editing tool is slip and slide. You can use slip to position the dialogue or action in time without changing the position or duration in the timeline. Or keep the clip's in and out points the same, but slide the clip you're inserting along the timeline. A big part of the editor's contribution to a project is to help craft the overall pace and rhythm. One of the easiest ways to do this is by having the audio and the video cuts occur at different times instead of simultaneously.
So where are you then?
I'm right over there.
Here's another technique that can help you control the feel of a scene. A small zoom can be applied to a shot to give it more emphasis. Although this may be considered an effect, it's actually an editing technique giving more impact or emotion to an important line or reaction. But don't make it too fast or zoom in too much. Most of the time, it just needs to be felt rather than seen. If you shot your scene with more than one camera, you can take advantage of multi-camera editing. Avid Xpress Pro HD lets you group together all the angles into a single clip and play back all the sources in real time. This allows you to treat the edit as if you were using a video switcher, switching between sources at the press of a button. And don't forget, with Avid Xpress Pro HD, you can mix all kinds of resolutions. Uncompressed standard definition, DV25, and high definition can be used within the same timeline. Even when you mix formats, you still get real-time effects thanks to the acceleration power of the Avid Mojo hardware. Remember, it's all about the original idea. All of these features are here to make it easier for you to tell your story. Does your footage have you feeling blue? Or red? Or yellow? No matter how much care you take in lighting your shoot, you're probably going to need to make some changes to the color balance of your footage. This may range from correcting skin tones to altering the feel of a scene by adding or subtracting color. With the Avid Xpress Pro HD editing software, this is as easy as bringing up the color correction toolset. These color correction tools are based on the renowned Avid Symphony system and provide all the control you need to color balance your scene. It's not uncommon for colors to vary between takes, from subtle changes in lighting to cameras that aren't calibrated correctly. But this is amazingly easy to fix thanks to Avid's patented natural match technology. Rebalance a shot to true white, or match skin tones between shots with just a couple of clicks. If you use the Macbeth color chart when you shot your footage, color correction will be even easier. By sampling the grayscale chips on the chart you originally shot and comparing them to a digital version of those same chips, you can quickly set up gamma curves that can be saved as effects and dropped on other clips for instant color matching. All of that assumes a good reference and works well with a small number of clips. But what happens when you have a lot of shots that need work and no good reference shot? Well, that's where Avid's unique autocorrect tool comes in. Select the shots in your sequence, and with one double click, Avid analyzes each shot and individually applies exactly the correction that each shot needs. Another aspect of color work is creating stylized looks. This can be used in even the most straightforward narrative film to associate a character or setting with a specific color palette. In fact, it's quite common now to treat a whole feature with looks like this, and Avid Xpress Pro makes it easy to do in real time. Earlier, I mentioned that sometimes you're going to encounter problems with your footage that you didn't plan for. Image stabilization is one of those problems. In a perfect world, every shot would be rock solid, but that's not always the case. Tripods tend to get bumped, tracking shots can be shaky, and other elements can cause a shot to be simply unusable. The image stabilization filter in Avid Xpress Pro HD solves this problem quickly and easily by taking shaky footage and making it usable. Oftentimes, the goal of quality effects is to be invisible. If you've done them right, nobody will know you've done them at all. Sometimes, though, you want effect shots to have a particular impact. You want them to draw attention to themselves. A great example is one of the most common effects in documentary films today: adding movement to a still image. Avid Xpress Pro HD has an exceptionally flexible pan and zoom filter that easily brings still images to life. Titles are another element designed to draw attention to themselves. The fact is that it's almost as easy to make dynamic animated titles as it is to make static ones, thanks to the tools found in Avid FX. The Avid FX library browser contains hundreds of customizable animated titles and can create timecode animations, scrambled text, text on path, and much more. 3D titles can create even more impact and are fast and easy inside Avid 3D. Industry-leading warping technology provides titles with a twist that don't look like the blocky elements created by other tools. Realistic lights and cameras and Oscar award-winning render technology helps to ensure the best-looking 3D output in the business. Avid 3D includes thousands of dollars worth of models, which can be easily customized and integrated with video elements you create in Avid Xpress Pro HD. Post-production is your opportunity to enhance your project. From color correction to adding effects and titles, Avid has powerful applications that allow you a whole new level of creativity. So you have all your images cut together. You might think you're done, but you're actually only halfway there. Even the best looking picture will suffer if the sound is bad. And that's where Pro Tools comes in. Let's take a look at how we can shape the other half of your project, the audio. The process of manipulating the audio in a project is sometimes called sweetening, and with Pro Tools it couldn't be easier. Getting your audio into Pro Tools is as simple as selecting Send to Pro Tools in the Xpress Pro HD drop-down menu. Pro Tools can share the media from your Xpress Pro HD session, saving time and drive space. And since you're working in an integrated environment, you can monitor the picture from your Mojo as your audio plays back from Pro Tools. So what can you do with Pro Tools to help your project? Let's take a look. Bad dialogue can ruin a scene. If it doesn't sound right, it can take the viewer out of the moment and ruin the experience. Let's take a listen to a piece of audio from the shoot.
I mean that it's not so far from here.
The last half of this line doesn't really work. What we can do is take the actor's dialogue from an alternate take and use it in the take we like. We do this with a plugin called Vocaline that literally lets you put the words from the alternate take in your actor's mouth.
I mean it's not so far from here.
By sampling a bit of the noisy part between the actor's lines, we can utilize Dinner, DigiDesign's award-winning intelligent noise reduction plugin, to get rid of some of the ambient background noise.
I mean it's not so far from here.
It still sounds a little flat, but we can fix that with an EQ plugin. Plugins are a powerful element of Pro Tools that help you shape the sound.
I mean, it's not so far from here.
So you've spent some time cleaning up your dialogue and getting rid of the excess noise. But now when you play back your scene, it might not sound realistic. This is where sound design comes in. Most of the sound you hear when watching a film has been added after the fact. When we cleaned up the dialogue, we had to remove a lot of the noise that was part of the ambience of the scene. Now we need to be able to add just the ambience back into the mix for it to sound real again. This can be done by using room tone. By recording a few minutes of room tone that you can edit back in, you can create the illusion of having perfectly recorded audio without the annoying dog bark or passing car.
I mean, it's not so far from here.
Room tone is one kind of ambience, but there are many other things you can add to create a more realistic environment. Things such as crowd noise, birds chirping, or traffic all add up to create the sound design for your film. Another great resource for sounds is one of the many sound effects libraries. Just find the sound you're looking for and place it where you want it. For this shot, we need to add the sound of the actress finishing her drink. In order to do that, we're going to need to record some audio that mimics the actor's performance. This is called Foley. Let's give it a try. Now that we have that, you just line it back up with the action and play it back. All of these sounds separately don't seem like much, but when you add them up, it creates a rich environment that helps to make your scene more believable. Your choice of music will completely affect the mood of your scene. Whether you create your own music or you purchase the rights to use music, Pro Tools will give you all the tools necessary to customize it to fit your project. Pro Tools contains a fully functioning MIDI sequencer, which many composers use to create film scores. There are also many choices for virtual instruments and samplers for the Pro Tools platform, including full orchestra and choir emulations for really big sounding scores. Once you have all the elements in your project sounding the way you want them to, it's time to create the final mix. In a final mix, multiple tracks are combined to create a single stereo track called a stem. Separate stems are created for dialogue, music, and for different types of effects. So when you do your final mix, you are really just mixing the stems and not all the individual tracks at once. Pro Tools software also has complete recall of all your settings. So whether you reopen this session 5 minutes from now or 5 weeks from now, it will be exactly as you left it. And once you're happy with your mix, just send it back to your sequence and lock it to the picture. It's really that easy. Hey, congratulations, you finished your project. But how are you going to get it out there? One of the easiest ways to do that is to put it on a DVD. One of the most popular methods of distribution these days is DVD. Avid DVD by Sonic is a complete DVD authoring suite which allows you to professionally compress your footage, create menus, and author high-quality DVDs. Just as you'd expect, DVD creation is tightly integrated with video editing inside the Avid environment. You can even create custom elements such as backgrounds and buttons in Avid FX and Avid 3D to give your menus and transitions an even more sophisticated look. So as you can see, making films today is easier than it's ever been before. So now it's up to you. Take your idea and make it a reality. And with any luck, I'll see you next year at Sundance. Thanks for watching. For more information about these products, as well as tips and tricks, user stories, and upgrades, check out these websites.